What's up, guys? It's Chrome, and I have just finished recording my most insane run of Gnomes Tower Defense with a somewhat unexpected ending. And by the way, keep one thing in mind: later on, each day requires a huge amount of effort optimizing everything. So one round could easily take far over 2 hours. So, if you have a subscription flying around that you can give away for this effort I just put into this run, I'd appreciate it, even more so because I'm working on getting partnered via YouTube. Okay, thanks in advance. Now, as a side note, there might be a guide for this game upcoming in the future, but we'll see. Okay, so enjoy the run. What's up, guys? It's Chrome playing another round of Gnomes Tower Defense slash roguelike. I'm here on the second map, the swamp, using the Vampire Guild, and I've placed some pretty insane economy, also because I was lucky enough to find the correct combo of items early. And now it's time to defeat the king. Nothing too crazy in this shop. I may use the sprinkler in a bit, but I need more banishes. Screen is looking pretty insane for day 16. This is because the Vampire Guild, well, not right now, but if any later on, if I replace my gnomes slash towers and let enemies run through, I can utilize losing health and get +2 gold each time HP is lost. The green thumb item I found very early on spreads nearby crops and weeds if an enemy dies nearby, which is one of the main reasons why my economy looks so damn crazy. The hoe fertilizes ground if something gets trampled. I may have not used this to its greatest effect because I was fertilizing the ground anyway. This wasn't the best and most efficient play, but that's how it is right now. Prayer beads +1 banish each time health is lost. I was trying to utilize this one in the last rounds, but it didn't really work because the roses did way too much damage and enemies died before they could reach my house. Earthworms, dead goblins, fertilized soil. I think it was already helpful, but again, I could have used this one a little bit better. Bone chimes +2 gold each time a banish is used. This was helpful early on, but fell off heavily. And I use this one when my bone item kicks in, so I gain much more banishes when my gnomes kill enemies on crit. But it might be much too late when this comes into play. Dice is a free reroll per day. This has become more or less whatever, it doesn't matter anymore because my eco is so insane. So these two items are very likely to get banished in a moment. Recycling bin +1 gold for trampled buildings or plants, and I think this also works for roses that were created with the green thumb. I cannot prove this one right now, but it might be. Death cap, so more enemies appear, more tiles spawn each day. This is pretty much mandatory if you want to go for endless mode. Sadly, I found it a little bit too late. Pesticides, +2 damage when trampled on crops and weeds. Kinda helpful to spread the crops, the roses, but at some point it won't matter anymore. So this might be also an item to get banished. Bone, as I said, crit kills give you a banish, but right now my roses kill everything and this does not come into play. Kiss of Death. If you are utilizing the roses, the vampire is one of the best items. And yeah, gets more bonus damage if these roses get trampled, and even if enemies across nearby tiles. Okay, now I'm at day 16 at the king round, and if I press end round, everything should die immediately, spreading a ton of more roses, especially in this area. And after that, we're gonna see how everything plays out. Okay, let's check. Yeah, I could have much better eco, even more insane eco, but I misplayed at least one day, so now plus 629 it is. Now I have to clean up every tile, fertilize the ground, because the spreading is so damn insane. Yeah, I don't know if I want to record more days. I might start again at day 20, 22-ish again. So I guess see ya in a bit. Alright, this is now day 22 of probably my most insane economy game. And now we can take a look. Basically, everything is windmills and cornfields. Now I think I don't have too much DPS to kill something. But it's okay. Enemies will run through and I gain even more gold because of the vampire's blood drink. A lot of stuff get trampled, but at some point I realized min-maxing everything is like close to impossible. $10,000 gold right now. I have to clean all the trees, all the swamps, fertilize the ground, and use some growth hormones pretty much everywhere, I guess. something like that. Okay, I think I'm gonna continue with day 25 or so. Something like that. Alright, day 24 it is. I lost a bit of eco because I re-managed kind of a lot when it comes to DPS and of course some core and some eco and whatnot. So there's a king spawning and this is the spiral I'm working with now, but I guess long term it has to be more efficient, like even more efficient. To be honest, I haven't slept well and I feel like I'm getting more impatient. So that's been the case for some minutes, maybe like last 1 or 2 days in this game. So I might better stop right now. I'm gonna show the round and then save and quit for now. I've also implemented some peppers, but I just realized it wasn't enough for 100% crit. Of course, with the chili jam, they will spread the crit chance all over the place. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, 100% crit. I have the Stingray Barb, and this was, I think, a very hard overkill, but I don't know. Feel like better safe than sorry. I have to think really hard about certain things. So, a bigger break before I record more. I think it's a good move. But anyway, let's start the round. King spawning from the left, and yeah, I have loosely placed the spear gnomes because to be honest, I was already about to delete them, but I don't know. Okay, 33,000 gold. I dropped in eco quite a bit, and okay, I'm still at 103% crit. Now I have to care about blocking the peppers, and it gets kind of tough to invest all of the money. It's not so easy anymore. And I guess I want to utilize the most efficient spiral I can do. But the swarm tiles are not going to work on this map as the king is immune to them, and he will even heal up from those. So that is out of the picture. To be honest, I am probably using landmines. Maybe. Because, well, over time I will get a refund if they get destroyed. And I think if you count all the tiles, it would be huge. But the bad thing about it, if all the other enemies won't die before, it's pretty much useless. Against the king at least. So this one is not gonna be easy to think about, to calculate the things. I mean, I've already been playing very inefficient because min-maxing got, yeah, a bit too weird. Okay, thanks for watching, I'm out. See ya. Alright, I'm back with day 32. The last one was day 24, if I saw that correctly. The reason for this big jump is that I wasn't feeling that there was a lot going on other than me optimizing everything. And now we are at 7,400 health, 90,000 gold, while having an income of plus 26,000 each day. Population 500 out of 1,100 with roughly 400 banishes. And now we can take a look at my pretty insane economy. Starting from the top, we go pretty much clockwise. Now I have finally implemented a line of houses to block everything, so their enemies have to walk outside of everything. Finally, yeah, let's go clockwise. So pretty much windmills and corn everywhere. Some lancers because it was getting kinda tough to find correct tiles for them, so I had to place them somewhere. Corn and windmills everywhere, and stuff like that is pretty much all over the place. A little bit of peppers, like I think I'm at 107% crit, so they could be deleted. 108 actually. Yeah, guess I care about right now because in the long run this hits me a lot harder. Like leave it unoptimized. Okay. This is like the bottom line. Corn everywhere, of course. And here is pretty much the entrance. Lots of archers already. And here's some coffee. Foxglove to give them probably level 3 already after one day. Like I place them, they stay for one day, and they get bursted to level 3 instantly. Some more lancers, but I might honestly just delete them because these tiles are pretty valuable in the long run. Lots of coffees to reach maximum speed. I am like, this lancer is at 11 damage while attacking in 0.05 seconds. This is the maximum amount. You cannot go lower. And yeah, that's about it. Here's some peppers to reach 100% crit. Some unoptimized windmills with some sprinklers because I didn't realize sprinklers are not worth it. And here is pretty much the middle where the king has to walk and hopefully get killed. I think for this round it might be enough. It's very likely enough. But in the future I have to care, like I may leave this spiral right now with some thick lines in the middle, but after that it's going to be one empty line, one archer, one empty, one archer. And I guess I have to delete more and more economy for more and more DPS. I guess this has to happen. And eventually, yeah, probably eating up everything and then swap it with DPS because you pretty much have to. King has 66, 560 health, no armor. Injury ring 0.35, whatever that means. Yeah. Guess some walking speed or something. Haven't really figured out what that means. Okay. Could also be that I am pretty much dead here, as I have no clue how much DPS I have. I might eventually calculate the stuff I have DPS wise, but that will take, of course, an incredible amount of time, counting all of these things, calculating and stuff. And by the way, all the thought processes behind the line of items get also a little bit confusing. Yeah, I might eventually buy another item slot for 65,000, which might not even be worth it considering I could buy a ton of new archers for it. But okay. Let's start the round and see how far the king comes and then recalibrate the DPS. If the game is not crashing. So normal enemies do not seem to come very far, but okay. Let's see what's up with the king. We'll take a moment until he enters. Oh, there he is. Okay. Good stuff. Now my eco is safe on top of everything. Yeah, and now I guess I have to do further optimizations. Maybe even deleting the coffee and place it outside. Stuff like that. Or maybe even I start to place archer gnomes outside. I think that might be the play. Because I need the level ups, of course. In a way that better safe than sorry, because I have no clue how much HP the next king will have. I mean, as convincing as the last fight looked, I don't know how much DPS the spiral will do in the end. But okay, I think the next two, yeah, the next two king rounds I might be able to beat, and after that, we'll see. Okay, I'm pausing here, and then we're gonna see us at day, I don't know, maybe at the next day, maybe at day 36 or so. Yeah, let's see in a bit. Alright, day 35 it is, and I've now implemented pretty much an outer ring of archer gnomes, protecting the line of houses, and if everything goes right, another ring follows up, like ring after ring, and so I can maybe hold my DPS high enough to get even higher and higher. Like, the goal is, well, the goal is actually pretty high now that I think of. I want to beat day 40. It's looking pretty okay-ish, but the last round the king got pretty far, somewhere around here or something, like where my cursor is. And that was not looking great. Eco-wise should be fine, I guess, with the plus 23,000. But what I'm certainly not okay with is like all the empty tiles. Because if I don't place economy, of course I straight up lose money. But if I place economy, I don't have tiles for more damage output anymore. So, bit of a weird decision to make here. I think I want to keep it like it is and just implement more DPS over and over again as more days pass. Might be a misplay, but it might also be correct. Okay. Now the game is at 20 FPS already. And the last time I pressed end round, I dropped to 1 frame per second. So it's not looking that good in that context, frame per second wise. Some exclamation marks here and there, but I care for those in the next round, I guess. Yeah, let's start the round and see what happens. Two FPS, 1, 6, 10. Well, it's 8 FPS if I drop down to 25% game speed. And seeing this, it's not looking good actually. Enemies coming pretty far. I still have 7,466 HP to lose, but well, I rather keep them for the future. Just a big fat blob of damage, I guess. Reminds me of the 300 line, like our arrows will darken the sky and whatnot, so we fight under all of this. Well, I saw some enemy HP and they are at 50%, so this is pretty much looking garbage. Eventually they will die, but I guess I have to work on the spiral. Okay, enemies will eventually die, but this is not looking good. "10 FPS, 20 FPS at full speed again. It's stabilizing. Now everyone became level 3, of course, because of the fox love. Lots of bonus tiles were added, and finally I might be able to implement another ring, like enemies are not entering here to the middle but have to walk another time around everything. Not sure if that's possible, but it better be. Certainly have to delete some economy here. Not even sure if I can beat the 1 million health king. He spawns pretty close to the quote-unquote entrance. I guess I have to think really hard about the next steps. Even more because there are some items left, like the tactics manual. So I would delete the roses maybe. Something else. Yeah, get the tactics manual, buy more gnomes. And then there's also one little mushroom left that I could trade for another item, which would give me +1 damage. So it's tactics manual, mushroom, and let's say 2 more gnomes. This would be +3 damage in total. Together with the 100% crit and +300% crit damage. This is of course it would be a really big fat upgrade. The problem is that decision making wise, what shall I banish? Maybe the butterfly, because I don't think I will use the garlic. Maybe the Kiss of Death. I guess those are the two items that are potentially be good to banish. Okay, I will think about it, and then we're gonna see us at the start of day 36. What is up, guys? This is now day 36 of the Gnomes grind, and I made a pretty big fat mistake. I was like 80% done optimizing everything, and all of a sudden I got impatient and I pressed end turn, also because I was getting tilted, and I don't know, I guess emotions played a role. And yeah, also to be honest, this grind session, repositioning everything took like, I don't know how long, but several hours. So I guess my willpower is now depleted. I cannot control myself anymore. And so it makes sense to get impatience, I guess. Now the king is on the battlefield, but it's looking rather okayish, I guess. Still, it was a little bit weird to me that after staying calm for so long, I don't know, pressing and turn all of a sudden was a bit weird. So the king is at the top right now. Of course, 2 kings were spawned. And I have to use 25% game speed because otherwise it's lagging quite a bit. The maze has become pretty insane. And yeah, of course I did some decisions in terms of items. I bought the last mushroom, so it's +1 for all gnomes / towers. Yeah, the tactics manual, and I replaced, of course, some buildable items or some buildables in the slots for some gnomes, which was probably the best decision of this run. And now the sleeping potion. I was considering the fragmentation rounds for the blunderbuss gnomes, but to be honest, those won't help with the kings. Just killing normal enemies, and I'm still at 7,400 HP, so I guess normal enemies won't be an issue anytime soon. As a round with a death cap only spawns around like 700, 800 enemies. Maybe it's 1,000 right now, so I would potentially compensate some losses with some health, I guess. In a bit I can show you the pretty insane maze I've built. And to be honest, it was kind of a big fat struggle. So it makes total sense that I got impatient because some parts it took me pretty long to figure out what the issue was at times. Yeah, like some crosses all over the map, and I had to figure out where enemies are breaking through, where I was overlooking things and whatnot. So yeah, here we are. 1 million HP king soon to be dead. And to be honest, he's taking way more damage than I was expecting. And there is still a huge potential for me to even build more layers of archer gnomes. And now we are roughly at 200,000 gold. So yeah, so the king has to still walk around everything at the outlines of all tiles. You have to walk around here to the bottom. And here are some unoptimized parts where I wasn't really able to min-max these kind of things. Now they walk to the inline where my cursor is, walk up here and into those big fat lines of archers. These parts could also be potentially be more min-maxed, as some flailing gnomes, some blunderbuss gnomes are missing. Walk around to the top again, to the bottom again, and all the way up again. And in the end, at some point, they will reach the middle of the spiral and still have to walk quite a bit. So the king died around here. So I guess potentially he would still take, like, let's be realistic, 300,000 HP or damage, let's say. Okay, I think this looks very good to beat at least one more round. And I think I'm confident enough to say it might be even another round. So, but let's not underestimate enemies scaling. Potentially the next king, I don't know, if he spawns with 2 million HP, that might be an issue. But okay. I will now save and quit, take a big fat rest, sleep, and then maybe even skip one day of playing because, well, the tilt is real since, yeah, everything has become extremely tedious and finicky, and all this type of clicking around is like, it becomes pretty annoying. Still fun, but pretty annoying. Okay. I guess I'm gonna add it to the next round, maybe even day 39, because maybe nothing too crazy will happen. Okay, see you in a bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, back with day 38, and I have decided that this will be the final one, as my mental strength to play with 7-8-ish FPS has now come to an end. I will record this round and then save and quit because I have had enough of this. Also because Discord people told me that the day 40 king has roughly 78 million-ish HP, and this might be a thing of objectively be at least very hard. I'm not saying it's impossible, but we are aiming towards, well, a situation that might be objectively impossible. And even if I would beat day 40, it's gonna be surely 41, where I have no chance anymore. Okay, now I have now unlocked 22 items. This is the maximum amount. I cannot buy any more item slots. The value has disappeared. I've min-maxed everything. My gnomes are dealing 13 up to 15 damage on each. The only thing I can do now that I just realized now, of course, I can banish the roses and buy the wizards. And the game lags even harder. Yes, fragmentation rounds are also available, but I have no item slots anymore and the rest is way too good to banish. Okay, +1 damage all of a sudden. Death Cap, Bunker Belt is mandatory. Berserker Amulet, absolutely necessary. Same as Stingray Barb. Sapphire, of course, for the stun. Goblin Ear for the income. To be fair, this might be banishable, but yeah, I haven't really thought about it, but maybe. Blood Whip, +1 damage for 1 health each day. Absolutely needed, same as Chili Jam, same as the Percolator, Coffee Machine. Fairy in a Bottle, so the Foxglove makes it so that all my gnomes are level 3 after they are placed on the next day. Gold Top Mushroom, which decreases population minus XP, but the bonus XP will come back with the Lion's Mane. But all the mushrooms are... I use them for the bonus damage from the moral, so +1 damage per mushroom. So these are 3 plus the death cap are 4. Chanterelle is 5 and so on. 6. Something like that. Diamond, of course, +1 damage. Bodkin arrows, I guess you want to ignore armor. Tacting Spaniel, of course, +1 damage per gnome unlocked. Flying Mushroom for, well, the +1 damage because the crit and the minus cooldown are actually terrible. Like, if you math it out, it's not really a great item, but surely I want the +1 damage from the moral. Sleeping Potion, so flail gnomes stun twice as long, pretty much mandatory. The meat, +1 damage, but minus 100% XP. I take it, I guess. And the Morning Star, so flail gnomes get +100% crit damage. I guess this might be the ideal combination of things. Hopefully. And if I reroll... Oh, there is still the Spear Gnome, but I don't think I have something that I can trade. Well, to be fair, maybe it's the manure. Yeah, I guess I take the +1 damage. The play with the wizards, I don't think I want to use it. The luck right now is way too crazy, so we ignore it, at least for now. Now, as I said, this will be the last recorded round. After that, I'm way too tilted, way too fed up. My mental strength has come to an end. You see it top left, 12 FPS constantly. So, yeah. Let's scroll over everything. It looks pretty insane, to be honest. The maze and all of that. The king has 4 million HP, which should be fine for now. The next one then has roughly 18 or 60 millions. Still it might be possible. On top of everything, it's kind of unbelievable that I have 0 gnomes that are not attacking anything. So this was the outer line, and now we come to the entrance. It's roughly around here. So they have to walk top here, bottom again, down here, up again, down again, up again, and of course down again until they finally reach the spiral. But in the next round I might care about going right and left and right and left and right, and then at the top somewhere here I might change direction again play around the peppers and then see how it goes. So eventually I will lose a ton of income, but I guess at this point it's kind of whatever. I mean, it's certainly not, but you have to keep up with your DPS. And of course, the outer lines, every tile that now comes in addition of every round will now be used for houses because I absolutely do not have any space anymore. Okay, I think I will now just press and turn and then edit to the end of the round because, well, the lag is way too crazy. I think. So let's hope first the game isn't crashing when I press enter, and because could also happen. Okay. Yeah, this is like a rocket start. 3, 2, 1. Well, it was running most stable on 25% game speed. But now I guess it's kind of whatever because it's still running on 1 up to 4 FPS. Okay, I'm gonna add it to the end of the king's health. Alright, so here we are. Frame rate has been stabilizing a little bit after a lot of enemies were killed. And I have now turned off the damage numbers in the options. Wasn't even aware that this option exists. Omega Law. And now, to be fair, well, the king spawning to the right, the outer line to the right, and he has come pretty far, even with quote unquote only 4 million HP. So there was, well, some of the maze left, but considering that the next king at the top, where was blinking, somewhere here, will have 18 million HP. This looks pretty tough. Of course, I have still 150,000 gold to spend, but once again, we are at 5 FPS per second, frames per second FPS thing. You know what I mean? And playing like this It's still somewhat fun, but I can't ignore it anymore. It's mentally too draining to always look over it. And I think this, for now, was the final round. I will stop here, save and quit, and hope for a performance patch. I think this is a little bit smarter to play it like this. Stop here, wait for a fix to some extent. Yeah, I think that's what we do now. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'm out. See ya in the future. And of course, I can hover over the map again. Enjoy all the insanity, especially the insanity of 5 frames per second. Yeah, pretty brutal. Lots of additional space has been added to the new round. But I'm not even sure if I want to play more. Maybe I leave the game how it is right now. I don't know. Once again, thanks for watching. See you in the future. Bye.